I want to demonstrate now a little bit about brushes. So I'm going to go into the custom brushes that I've made especially for this course and show you how they work. Let's get some colors, just a generic color. We'll go into tool presets. What do we got here? I'm not sure which brush that is. Let's go into the brush tool, or you can hit B. And here is a list of all the tool presets I have for the brush tool. You can also go up here, see them here. I have, let's just start with some of these watercolor brushes. That's kind of the ones I'm going to be using in this tutorial. Here's a watercolor straight stroke. You can see that my brush tip is shaped kind of square, and this creates kind of a watercolor effect. You could also put it on normal, or on multiply, and turn down the opacity a little bit, get a little bit of different effect. Looks almost the same. Let's get another color and mix it in there. So it's not exactly like real watercolor, but that's the effect it'll give you right there. With digital, you can kind of create whatever effect you want. So it may mimic traditional painting, it may not, but if it looks good to you, then it's right. That's the nice thing. Whoops. Okay, watercolor brush 1 is a different shape, similar kind of effect. See how that works there? It's really a lot like the other, but just a different shape. There's a watercolor wash. You can see how that kind of works with the watercolor brush on top of it. The watercolor straight stroke. Of course, I'll make all these brushes downloadable for everyone. Watercolor round 1. This is a bristle brush, and so you'll see what the tip of the brush looks like. If you have a higher end Wacom tablet, then you can actually detect what angle that pen tablet is at, and it will change this brush tip. So just like a paintbrush, if you're painting straight up, it'll look just like it does now, but if you tilt it, it'll paint with the side of your brush. My tablet doesn't do that, and yours might not either unless you have kind of a pro version. So the higher end versions can recognize that kind of thing. So that's what this brush does. Let's mix in another color. Watercolor square. Watercolor square dry. This, instead of multiplying color together, this is putting solid color on top. So if you put it on the one that's supposed to be more like a wet brush, you can see it's multiplying times the green below. But the dry one just puts this color straight on top of it without really mixing it with the color below. So there's some different things there. Now the other tool I want to show you here is the smudge tool. And I've set up some brushes for that. The watercolor blend fast is the one I want to show you. You can see that that's kind of like taking a wet brush to watercolor paint, making it bleed a little bit. See how it mixes those colors together. Make it nice and big like this. Computer might have to think about that a little bit, but it is kind of blending all these colors together. So it's like taking a really wet brush and spreading that paint around. So those are the main brushes we're going to use here. Again, you'll be able to download them for the course. Let me just show you a little bit about how they work. This smudge tool here, actually let's go into the brushes, go into the brushes panel. All I really have going on here is with these bristle brushes you don't have as many options. There's angle jitter, I have that turned down, but the control is determined by the direction of the brush. So if I'm painting this way, my tip is facing that way. If I paint this way, it faces this way. So whichever direction I'm going, it will follow that. If I turn that off, then it will stay. Well, with this brush you can't notice a lot, but if you have something like this one, you'll see it'll be like that, unless you change it to be controlled by the direction. And it's always going to follow you like that. So that's kind of the basics of how the brushes work.